Hey there, everybody. HailTrace meteorologist Martin Lattimore here. We are back. Going to be taking a look at the live radar real quick and just going to give you a bit of an update of what's going on. We've been seeing a bit of a focus going on, really, of across Kansas, not so much Nebraska anymore, but Kansas, Missouri, and Iowa. So we've got plenty of these severe thunderstorm warnings, a couple tornado warnings also mixed in there as well. We got a couple cities that are going to start seeing some threats pretty soon as well. This includes Topeka, Emporia, and of course, Wichita. Des Moines is seeing some of those storms as well, although they have just been barely marginal. So let's take a look at what we're seeing for right now across the entirety of this region. Starting down the further south, Wichita, you're going to be seeing these storms coming in pretty soon. You're currently under that severe thunderstorm warning up for $half sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds, continuing to move north. Actually, several reports up to 60, almost 70 miles an hour there so far today. So it's been a pretty busy one across parts of Kansas, and of course now getting into what was originally Nebraska, but now Nebraska is pretty much in the clear. Wow, it's actually really chilly out there too. Center of Nebraska sitting at 44 degrees. Wow, yeah, it's definitely pretty chilly on the other side of that cold front. This is going to be something everybody's going to be noticing once you get on the other side of the cold front. This is a pretty strong cold front. It's going to be pushing in some pretty chilly air as we get into the next few days across all these areas that are seeing these storms now are going to be seeing much, much cooler temperatures over the next couple of days. Let us know where you're watching from. We'll try to get you a good forecast for what you're going to be seeing for the next couple hours. So just let us know what you're seeing where you are. Moving up a little bit further north, Emporia is now starting to get some of those showers and storms. Also got a tornado warning just to the south of Topeka. Not currently anything severe or not anything reported, but they said tornadic thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is moving east at 60 miles an hour. Yeah, it's moving pretty fast. This is just to the south of Topeka. We'll be watching that one pretty closely just in case it does try to meander into the city. Got a bit of a break in the line here where there's nothing severe, and then you start seeing more intense storms heading in towards St. Joseph, Missouri. This one right here is warned for 70-mile-an-hour winds and 1-inch hail. So a lot of action going on there. Moving in toward Des Moines, I want to focus in on this just after it got past the city. It'll show. There we go. Des Moines did have that severe thunderstorm that rolled through. It was only marginally severe and actually kind of snuck up on the city. Didn't have a warning before then, and all of a sudden started getting that severe thunderstorm warning. Luckily, it was only for 60-mile-an-hour winds. Fortunately, only for that nickel-sized hail as well. Got a tornado warning just to the south of that. We move ourselves up ahead of time. Is that a new warning? That's a tiny warning. So they've got another one as it's making its way past Des Moines, so it is now going to be heading its way possibly toward Waterloo, but it's going to be reaching some pretty unfavorable environments pretty soon once it gets past this watch here. So these watches are active for a good little bit. This one in Iowa is active till 10 p.m. I believe this one goes until 1 a.m. That includes Kansas City, and then we've got a couple counties that are going to be going until 10 p.m. That PDS, particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch has been allowed to expire. It does not here anymore. So we saw this purple shaded area here. That was where we were expecting the best chance for those tornadoes to be moving through. And as we back up, we could see it has been only a little bit recently since they did allow that PDS tornado watch to expire. But so far, it's been mostly a wind event. This pretty much tanked its way right into being a wind event almost immediately afterwards. And we did kind of see that evidence in the models. Maybe not this quick, though, because it was really just a few-minute time frame. We saw hailstones and then immediately bounce back in to that wind threat. Even with these storms that were across Kansas and Nebraska, almost an immediate changeover to that wind threat only after a few minutes of these storms really pushing through. We got 2 tornado warnings still currently active. 3 tornado warnings currently active. This one's just to the south of Topeka. This one right here, I believe it's only got a few minutes left on it. 8 minutes left. This one is also, these are warned for nickel-sized hail, but 70-mile-an-hour winds. That's what we're really worried about for those wind events as they move its way into Topeka. Very recently, 65-mile-an-hour wind gust in just near Topeka. This is an NWS employee. Not a whole lot of hail with these right now. Got a little bit of one-inch reports here and there. Moving its way to St. Joseph, just north of Kansas City. I imagine Kansas City will probably get some form of wind out of this. It's going to be tough to get hail. We're already at 8:30, so we're already losing our daytime heating as is. Take a look at temperatures real quick. Yeah, I mean, right ahead of the cold front. So what happens with these cold fronts is they'll actually pack all of that warm air together. So immediately ahead of the front, you could still get some pretty warm temperatures. Oh yeah, we've also got another tornado watch down in southwest Oklahoma. This one, I believe, goes until midnight. Yes, so got one little cell just off of I-40, just to the south of Elk City. Not really much has been happening across Oklahoma. We have had that little cell kind of just meandering, but I don't think we've even had a warning yet today in Oklahoma. Did we have? Was that warned earlier? Yes, that was warned earlier. Okay. So yeah, seeing that one. We had one warning, but this was 22Z, so that was what, like 3-4 hours ago? Yeah, so that one did drop a couple of those hailstones, especially over at Elk City. They did see a couple reports of inch and a quarter. Will Burlington, Iowa get any of these storms? Let's take a peek. Burlington, Iowa. So it's going to be tough to get these storms. I imagine you'll probably get more tomorrow. Let me take a look real quick. Current forecast. It's going to be, honestly, you might end up threading the needle here for these storms. You might get these storms later on in the evening tonight, like after you go to bed, more than likely, but it is going to be hard to really get a lot of these stronger storms, especially if you're looking for hail over in Burlington, because by the time these storms do end up getting into the far side of Iowa, it's more than likely going to be almost completely linear at that point. A couple tornado reports. Is that recent? No, it's not recent. Oh, okay. That's why, because it was super delayed. Wichita. Yeah, you guys are going to be heading in there, Darren. You'll be seeing these storms pretty soon. They are marginally severe, so right now it is warned for mostly just that $half sized hail, so a little bit larger than a quarter, and then 60-mile-an-hour winds. Tomorrow's threat, well, it will be. Well, we'll be seeing the threat tomorrow. I mean, it's granted it's going to be nowhere near as intense as we were going to be expecting for today, but it covers a wide area. So here's the Storm Prediction Center, what we're talking about with tomorrow's threat, covering a good portion of the nation, all the way from the Rio Grande all the way up to Vermont. Granted, we're going to look at a specific threat. So this is your tornado threat. Only a few areas actually do have the chance of seeing tornadoes. Hail, lesser on the threat level, but I do think we'll probably get some large hailstones in parts of Texas and Oklahoma. Meanwhile, your wind threat, that's why we're seeing that threat. I think more than likely these storms, these long lines of storms that we're seeing right now, are going to continue and spread across. Let me take off make that a little less cluttered. There we go. It's going to spread across, the Mississippi and Missouri River valleys, making their way across eventually to the Ohio River Valley by tomorrow. And that is going to be what we'll be looking at for tomorrow, is that main wind threat with a little bit of a hail threat out toward western Texas. We also got a stray severe thunderstorm warning in Pennsylvania, of all places. Ain't that something? Probably marginally severe. Nah, just winds. It's about to expire as well. Yeah, really main thing we're watching is just out here. Includes Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, and a separate watch in Oklahoma and Texas. So that's what we're watching for right now. Got a new one. New report, relatively new report. St. Joseph having winds of 61 miles an hour. Where's that a report from? The ASOS station. So that is at the St. Joseph Airport. So we know that's a legit report. Oh yeah, Topeka, 65-mile-an-hour wind right there. You can see up to 70 without current warning. Actually, Wichita's warning has been bumped up. Not for wind, but for hail. How about that? The thing is that if any storm here is going to have hail, it's going to be the one all the way down on the southern edge here. That'd be the best chance. We call these tail end Charlies. And they do have the best chance because they have a really good inflow that they can pull off of that will allow them to actually sustain that hail risk. One of our meteorologists talking about how we probably got about 15 tornadoes in the PDS watch throughout the day today. So National Weather Service did a good job keeping everything covered for today, despite maybe the hail not doing what we were hoping it was going to do. But hey, Wichita's coming in pretty soon, so we might see some hail in Wichita pretty soon. Wichita has been warned for golf ball sized hail. Does expire in 16 minutes. I will say that. But more than likely, if it's going to remain this intense, they'll just issue a new warning. Down to 2 tornado warnings, 1 tornado warning. They allowed the one near St. Joseph to expire. So all we've got is the 1 tornado warning near Des Moines. New warning, stretching into Lawrence. Stretching into Lawrence, Kansas. This is probably going to be for more wind. Yep. This is making its way toward Kansas City. Oh, too close. Too close. So we got that warning heading toward Wichita. Most recent hail report of a 1-incher near Kingman. That's pretty recent. Only a few minutes ago. So we'll be seeing that pretty soon getting into Wichita. How long is it before they think Wichita will be getting in there? Pretty soon. So we're at 25 miles an hour, so it's honestly moving pretty slow. But this one cell is what they're concerned about for the hails. You move up, you lose that hail potential, but you start gaining a wind potential as it moves through. Let's get a closer look at some of these storms with our other better radar, because we'll be getting pretty close to these actually. Oh yeah, that outflow boundary. That's the gust. That's the gust front. What a lot of people call that, but it's the scientific term is the outflow boundary. That's where you see that, and before a storm gets you get a big push of air. Very strong winds with these. That's why we're seeing several of these wind reports before the storms get to them, and they get hit with that outflow boundary. That's where those strongest winds are at. So let's take a look at the structure of this thing. little too close to the radar. Huge animal, though. Things are good overshooting tops. It's a healthy cell. Cloud tops are roughly about 40,000 feet. These are pretty high up. Cloud tops probably reach upwards to close to 50. Pretty good. Pretty healthy storm. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it give some pretty decent hail to Wichita in the very, very near future. Wichita actually just got hit by that gust front. You actually see it. Let me download some more frames real quick. Yes, you see this line right here. The line of the little blues, the very light blues, that is what we call that outflow boundary. That right there is the initial burst of wind that you first get with those storms. You can see a lot of that shear. We had really good shear today, but they immediately formed into lines, which is not exactly ideal. So we could still see, you can see how many tornado warnings we had before. They all kind of faded away. I'm going to leave that right there. Still got that tornado warning up north of Des Moines. This is near the edge, just west of Cedar Rapids. Where is the storm located? This is currently in the center part of the country, Iowa, Missouri, and Kansas. We've also got one lone cell in Oklahoma. Is it close to Tennessee? Nah. There's a couple of thunderstorms. Actually, is it thunderstorms? Thunder showers north of Tennessee. You might see some storms tomorrow, though. I imagine once we get to tomorrow, we're going to have a large swath. Let me see real quick. Can I pull up tomorrow's SPC on this? No? Does not want to be kind to me. Here, I'll just pull it up over here. Tomorrow, I think we could see some storms, but it's only going to be on like the most western parts of Tennessee. So if they're in that yellow area, they might see some storms, but it's going to be pretty tough to get those storms. Plenty of people underneath this. Goes all the way from Vermont all the way down to the Rio Grande. Plenty of people in that storm risk tomorrow. All right, so we are officially down to no tornado warnings. No tornado warnings. All severe thunderstorm warnings. Probably gonna be watching this storm going into Wichita though. It's very slow moving though. It's only 25 miles an hour. These tail and Charlies tend to do that. So I'm probably gonna hop off for right now. I'm going to put back on the radar loop just to allow us to keep you guys informed on what's going on. So we will be hopping back onto that real quick. We'll more than likely give an update once it gets into Wichita. So just keep in mind that I'm still here and going nowhere. But we will be keeping an eye on these storms. So thank you guys so much for watching real quick. Las Vegas, Nevada? Nah, not even close. Don't even think about Nevada getting any storms. You're way too west of these storms, and I imagine more than likely you'll be seeing dry conditions over the next several days. All right, we'll be on pretty soon. Once Wichita starts getting affected, we're probably going to hop back on just to kind of keep a watch out of everything. That is if this storm maintains its current strength. We might be also watching for Kansas City as well. So We'll be back soon. Later.
Hey everyone, meteorologist Martin Lamore here. So, watching mainly two areas of interest. So we have two currently. Obviously, we're still watching Wichita. They've got warned, but also want to note there was a 92-mile-an-hour wind gust that was reported outside of Kansas City about 15 minutes ago. Moving ahead in time, still seeing very strong winds out of this region. They had another gust of 60 miles an hour by another emergency manager. They've warned the entirety of Kansas City so far. Uh, this is included for 70-mile-an-hour winds. Also got two tornado warnings that are still active. These are both outside of the Kansas City metro. There we go. So still destructively warned storm. Has it been updated? Corrects the previous one. Okay, so this was 91 before. There was a report of 91, and then now it's 61. But there was still a report of 92. Meanwhile, further south, Wichita, you're now looking at this new warning for Wichita is only for wind. This one is saying very strong winds, I might add. What are they looking like in Wisconsin? Not a whole lot. Doing pretty good. Might have a couple storms if you're in the western part of the state. Um, Mondovi, you might be seeing some of those storms just off of Minneapolis. I think that's I-90. I believe it's I-90. Pretty sure. But yeah, basically, there's those cluster of thunderstorms not severe. Your temperatures are just way too cool right now. If I remember correctly. I guess 70s. You can see some storms, but not really in that risk for today. Let me check the Storm Prediction Center. You're under a marginal risk, so like you could see some storms, but the difficulty of getting those storms to be severe is going to be very, very difficult. And you're really looking at only a marginal wind and tornado risk. So you're not even really seeing a huge risk, even if you do see the storms. They still haven't corrected that 92. So as far as we know, that was a 92-mile-an-hour wind gust. PWS measured 60. PWS measured 61-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Oh, there we go. But overall, yeah, I was kind of surprised to see those wind gusts as strong as they were. We're still seeing pretty strong wind gusts across the region, sitting in the upper to mid 70s and even some 80s. And as far as we know, oh, my bad. That was my phone. But we're probably going to just want to give you guys a quick update, let you know what's going on. But I'll be back once we start seeing these storms getting into Kansas City. Don't go anywhere. I am back. Taking a look again. Now it's making its way over Kansas City. No hail, but a lot of wind. Seeing gust reports of 60 to 65 miles an hour inside Kansas City. Continuing to keep that going into Missouri. Wichita, same goes. They have allowed it to kind of dwindle down a little bit. New warning is only in effect for marginally severe weather. Considerable warning is going to be expiring pretty soon. Same goes for that one. Yeah, luckily it did kind of weaken a little bit as it made its way into Kansas City. I was a little bit lucky. You see how definitive the line is right there. And as we got closer, started getting a little bit further ahead of that main line. That's what allowed it to kind of weaken a little bit. Believe me, 70, 80 mile an hour winds inside a major metropolitan would not have been fun. Still 60 is not exactly the greatest ever either. No tornado warnings. They have issued a new tornado, not a tornado watch, a severe thunderstorm watch for parts of Iowa and Missouri. Goes from just north of Cedar Rapids all the way down to just past Columbia. So they're calling for scattered damaging winds up to 70 miles an hour, scattered large hail of up to 1.5 inches, so just barely severe hail, and then a tornado or two is possible, but more than likely because they have issued this to be a severe thunderstorm watch. That means their confidence on tornadoes is not very high. Let's see what they're saying about this. There's a scale discussion here. Severe winds are likely on an extensive squall line extending from central Iowa to Missouri. Storms have largely consolidated in the squall line this afternoon. Bowing segments. Yep. Most probable peak hail size, golf balls. That's it. And that usually is what they're expecting the largest to be. So the largest is going to be golf ball. More than likely, most of them will be more than likely just on the cusp of severe. Most probable peak wind size, 65 to 80. Not surprising there. See if they're going to let these expire. They're probably going to have a pretty soon, within not the next minute or so, we're going to have a lot of warnings fall off pretty soon. Still under a full tornado watch, though. Still got that tornado watch active. I imagine they're probably going to start cutting a good portion of cut out the radar. A lot of these areas right here are not going to be seeing any more storms. So I'm imagining in the next few minutes, they're probably going to start cutting this tornado watch down, thinning it down a bit. Yep, they have allowed a lot of these to expire. Still, they've got this little tail in Charlie right here, just off the Oklahoma border, is currently warned for $half sized hail. This one is not warned for any hail. It's making its way through Wichita. It's for wind, though. A couple more thunderstorms here. Severe thunderstorms, but barely. A few other strong severe thunderstorms. Wind gusts up to about 80, 70, not 80, 70. So this is now past the worst of it in Kansas City and Wichita. I imagine once we get to a point to where we're past Wichita and Kansas City, we're probably going to be wrapping up this live stream, actually shutting her down. We're more than likely, I'll be talking more about what you're expecting for tomorrow. I'll give you a bit of a forecast what we're going to be seeing for tomorrow. So this is going to be much more of a widespread threat, but an overall lesser threat than we're expecting as we head into tomorrow. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And we're going to back ourselves up just a smidge of what we're seeing for the next couple hours. So let me get the most recent. There we go. All right. So over time, we will be seeing this line really spreading across most of the nation. You can see kind of where it's really pushing its way across, stretching all the way from that Wisconsin area all the way down to even Oklahoma. So line of storms. Again, some of these could be strong or severe, and we are mostly expecting the wind to be that biggest threat. Ooh, I hope we can get some rain tonight. It's going to be difficult for me to wake up with it raining like this and storming tomorrow morning. But we're expecting this to continue all the way down here and really start seeing these storms firing up along the Midwest. That is an area that we're watching for those storms to fire up. Now, the one thing I do want to note, down here in Texas, especially in parts of Southwest Texas, they are expecting the chance of maybe seeing some hail out of this. So while we are mainly just expecting this to be a wind threat, maybe a small tornado threat up toward parts of Ohio and Indiana with the first little bits of initiation. That's where we could see a little bit of hail, a little bit of a tornado threat. But down in the south, where we're seeing at Texas, that is the best chance to see hail come tomorrow. This is expected to make its way across the entire nation, bringing in here and there thunderstorms. Could be some that could be severe. This is going to continue on all the way down to the East Coast as we get into our Wednesday. Now, what's going to be left behind is going to be cool, stable air. So we're going to move ahead in time just a little bit. So we're back here to where we are sitting right now. A lot of the nation sitting in the upper to mid 80s, some 90s, closer to the cold front. As we sweep on by, we see that temperature drop off with that cold front. Now we've got, this is our Thursday afternoon, 61 degrees in Oklahoma City, 60 degrees in Kansas City, 48 in Chicago. It is going to be a chilly one for sure as we get into my mouse moving. I'm not doing that. Oh, wait. I'm touching my mouse. But oh, my gosh. It's been a long day. But it'll be pretty cool once we do get on the other side of this cold front. And we're going to be seeing a lot of rain over the next several days for a good portion of the nation as well. So while we are seeing this severe threat kind of wrapping up across parts of Kansas City, ooh, we got a tornado warning actually south of Kansas City. Interesting. Let's see a little further away. How's Fort Scott, Kansas looking? Well, unless you are in this little section here. Well, hey, there's Fort Scott right there, actually. So these storms are kind of losing their intensity a little bit. Tornado threat is there. It exists, but it's not anything that is super prominent. Hail is going to be difficult to get for the rest of the evening. Now, wind, that is probably going to be your biggest threat over in Fort Scott. It's going to take a while for these storms to get here. They're not exactly moving quickly. 45, is this one kind of dragging? 40, yeah, they're starting to pick up a little bit. Okay, so the storms are kind of picking up speed. They were only moving at about, I want to say, like 25 miles an hour earlier. So they're picking up speed a little bit. But you'll see some of those storms moving into Fort Scott probably within the next 2-3 hours or so, 2.5 hours. I'd say roughly 2. But these storms are kind of on their way. They're moving. Well, if I could download a few more frames, that'd be nice. Let's before we get back to Fort Scott, I do want to look at this tornado warning real quick. I want to pull up. What in the world are they seeing? Huh. It's that little, I think that's what they're looking at right there. That is probably it. think that is. Once we get this close to the radar, it gets difficult to really see it. Ah, there it is. So we see but basically the storms are moving faster here than over here. We got winds 70 miles an hour. I have to bump that warning up a little bit. Someone in the city when his city risk is high dom 3. You need to elaborate on that one a little bit. I read the words, but I didn't know exactly what you were saying. Another tornado warning on the other side of Kansas City. Luckily, these are moving away from the city. So, not exactly a huge threat to Kansas City itself. We got a lot of wind reports out of Kansas City. Mid 60s, a couple upper 50s. Oh, too close. Go back to analyst real quick. Again, it's difficult to see with all this interference. Huh. That's what they're saying. It's a mess. Can you see with the terminal radar? Oh, that's what they're looking at. Okay, yeah, that's yeah, you can see that a lot easier now. This is a terminal radar, so it's a little bit further. It doesn't go out as far, but much better view of what's going on, that's for sure. Is that right there? That's what they're looking at. Still, winds are a little bit strong. 60s. Starting to see these gravity wave effects really starting to push through. And now look, see all these little lines that are forming in. That's when these storms start really losing their intensity. It could reform, but like when you have these, like this is a strong one probably right here that I'll be seeing probably reforming pretty soon. You see that bow really forming out, though it is lagged behind the outflow boundary. Flash flood warning, considerable flash flood warnings actually. Yeah, we've seen a lot of rain. Some areas have seen quite a bit of rain. Yeah. So it looks like they've filled in the rest of northern Missouri. I was actually wondering about these counties right here, why they weren't included in this watch right here, but they decided to fill it in with the tornado watch. So basically what they're saying with the tornado watch being this far and then the severe thunderstorm watch being this far, they're essentially saying once it gets past this line from about Macon, Moberly, all the way up to near Waterloo, that's when these storms really stop having their chances of producing tornadoes, and they're just going to be seeing the chance of just producing severe thunderstorms. Wichita, not really seeing much of anything else. This could get down to Wellington. We are expecting these to spread further south, kind of starting to kind of initialize down in northwest Oklahoma and sweep across Oklahoma. More likely is non-severe, or if it is severe, it's going to be like just marginally severe. Oh, confirmed tornado. Is this radar confirmed? Confirmed tornado. Radar confirmed. All right, let's take a look real quick. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Confirmed tornado. That is a definite. So that was the first one. That might have been a tornado at that point in time right there. Boom, boom. Yep. That is a confirmed tornado for sure. Honestly, it's probably rain wrapped. If I had to take a wild guess. Yeah, these we call them QLCS tornadoes. Basically, they are these tornadoes that do form along these lines of storms, and they are most of the time very difficult to see coming because they're rain wrapped. And also, when these storms do appear, these lines of storms, they tend to be at night, which you can't see anything at night. So, 2 tornado warnings just outside of Kansas City. They are moving away from Kansas City, though. Iowa, you are under some watches, but you're no longer seeing any more severe thunderstorm warnings. I imagine once you turn on these temperatures, 60s, yeah, it's going to be tough to get those storms in the 60s. So it's really just Missouri and Kansas is what we're watching right now. Let us know where you're watching from. I'm going to get you a forecast. So far, largest hailstone of the day, 2 inches. Not exactly as a little bit smaller than we were expecting. We were thinking we could probably get some baseball, softball sized hailstones, but actually, let me do a quick check. Let's see, go over our reports again real quick, just so we can get a good view of what's been going on. So far today, we've had 257 reports total. 18 were tornado reports, 62 of them were hail reports, 177 were wind reports. Now, of those 62 hail reports, 4 of them were what we call large hail, 2 inches or more. And then of the wind reports, there were 13 reports of high wind reports, which these, I believe, are 70. Let me check real quick. Oh, we actually did have a baseball-sized hail report in Worth. No, was it Sheridan? Sheridan, Missouri. This one was not too long ago. When did that kick through? I'm going to back up a little bit. Oh, it was covered up. Okay. Huh. So that was the only report over 2 inches that we had for the day. Sheridan, Missouri. Living Belton, winds just took out your bush. Dang. Yeah, we've heard a lot of wind reports lately. I'm guessing it's Belton, Missouri. Well, if it's any consolation, once this line goes through, you're done for the night. Yeah, Belton is on the other end of the tornado warning here. They just cut that down too. What in the world? Huh. Go back to the. Eesh. Doesn't look good. That looks pretty terrible for a radar. Barely goes out that far too. The issue is this is literally on top of the radar. So like we literally cannot see it. If it's so close to the radar, it's impossible to actually see. This one's still confirmed. It's got a little tight knit rotation on it, but the debris ball is kind of falling in on itself. We want to see those greens and blues for the debris ball. We're kind of losing it right now. There might be a little bit of hail in that too. A little bit of a correlation coefficient drop off. That right there coinciding with some higher reflectivities, that could be a little bit of hail. It's not impossible to get hail in these lines of storms. It's just much more difficult because you don't have a proper inflow and outflow going in there. Let's see, where was this again? This was Sheridan. It still might be a confirmed tornado. I do think we probably got some hail over at Wood Heights, more than likely. Not big hail, but decent. Looks like they've allowed it to expire. Not expire, but they changed it to just a tornado warning, no longer a confirmed tornado warning. Still warning over at Wichita for $half sized hail. This is out of Kansas City now. So with the confirmed tornado gone and out of Kansas City, Wichita no longer seeing a big threat. I think I'm probably going to wrap it up here, guys. We're going to be probably talking more tomorrow on our noon show about what we're going to be expecting in the near future. We are going to be seeing things kind of getting a little bit shaken up by this cold front that is expected to move into the East Coast, more than likely, across most of the entirety, really just everywhere, like east of the Mississippi could be seeing some of those storms. So it will continue to move across. This cold front is not going anywhere. It's going to continue to kind of trek across the nation. So all of this area, we're seeing a very large threat for those storms. This is the rest of your day today. And then tomorrow, you're going to see how large of a area is actually in this, just whole encompassing severe weather threat. Mostly wind. I don't think we're going to have much hail. The one place we could have hail is in southern Texas. Southwestern Texas, I think, does have a good chance of getting good hail out of this. That's the only real place I think we could see those storms really moving their way across. Meanwhile, the rest of the area, wind threat. That's going to be the big one. It's not a huge wind threat. I'm going to be real. It's not a huge threat for severe weather. That's going to be tomorrow. And as we get into our day after tomorrow, it's even lesser of a threat. We could see some more chances of maybe some wind and hail across parts of southern and western Texas and eventually into New England. So today is really probably going to be our last big day for severe weather. I think we could get a couple more reports tomorrow. But today, once you're past this cold front, you feel that cool air moving through. I think more than likely that's going to be pretty much the wrap of it. So we're going to hop off here, guys. Been a long week and weekend for a lot of us. So hope you guys have a good rest of your day today. We're going to be wrapping this up here. Have yourself a good Monday. We will see you at noon tomorrow.